9 through 16, and they will receive 1 bye. All rounds in the finals will be 3-game total pinfall until we determine a winner. If you would like to re-enter, I do have some space available on the next 2 squads at 12:30 and 6 p.m. Re-entries are $175, or again, the Desperado is $100. And once again, if you guys wanted the side action, the sheets are on the table in front of my check-in desk. So make sure you guys get into that by frame 5 as brackets start game 2. I think that's enough of me talking. We're going to start you guys on 10 minutes of practice. please hold up on your practice. Please make sure all pin spotters are respot to the #1 position. Yesterday, people did not listen and we had to respot some pins. So please make sure they are all respot to the #1 position. There is reset buttons on the front part of the ball returns. All right, left lane will be moving left, right lane will be moving right. You're just going to move one pair each way. If you forget where you're moving, the lane assignments will be on your score sheets I will be bringing down. If you would like a quick look at the standings each game, there is a QR code that will be at the top right corner of your score sheets. You can scan that and it'll take you right to the standings, and you'll be able to filter by your squad and see how you're doing on your squad. Good luck. Go ahead and pick whatever letter you would like on your pair. If there's an A, B, decide if you would like to be A or B.
Tests. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to live bowling here on Bowlstream TV. Please let me know if you can hear me. Bright and early here on or in Sun City, Arizona for the full day of bowling. First squad of 3 today on this wonderful Saturday here at the 2nd annual CBE 10K Cactus Classic. Again, my name is Emil Williams Jr. Big thank you to Theo Duthay, the tournament director. He also runs Complete Bowling Events, which is what CBE stands for. And all of the sponsors who have helped create something exquisite here in the Metro Phoenix area. Wanted to start a little bit with the reigning U.S. Women's Open champion and proud player from Arizona, Brianna Cote, as she starts off, or did start with a strike. I think you saw that to begin with. Also get a look at Joe Grondin. It's a nice group to start the day off with. Brianna Cote, Joe Grondin, and let's see who else is down there. Tracy Dumas on 11 and 12 and on 9 and 10. That's Alec Johnson. Greg LaPointe. And there's one player I'll need to get a name for. We'll mosey on down to 5 through 8 in a little bit and check out what's going on down here with Jack Sullivan, Anthony Chin, Mark Learned is also in that group. Sean Manning also on 5 and 6. Bowling with the FEF. Yes, Scott did actually answer that. Ed did bowl yesterday. Something tells me that he might bowl again at some point today. Or maybe this evening in the Desperado. If you are joining us for the first time, there is already one squad in the books, and that was yesterday afternoon. It was the first squad of the day. It was the only squad of the day yesterday. It was the official A squad, and then there was a Pro-Am last night. The local community here in Sun City. But yesterday's standings, and that squad were led by Jacob Buttroff. Did not have a game under 200 yesterday, plus 133 for 8 games. Greg Thompson Jr. was second at plus 51. Those two players will receive 2-round buys for Sunday's match play bracket. Michael Haugen Jr. was third at plus 27. Mark Mazzulla was fourth at plus 23. Those two players will receive a 1-round bye. Again, for Sunday's match play, Matt Zweig, who had a heck of a last 4 games to hop into that top 7, which earned you an automatic spot in the match play. Zweig finished at plus 13. He was 5th. Brian Halen was 6th at plus 3. And Cortez Shank was 7th at minus 1. Again, the top 7 in each squad advances to match play. There will be 32 in total. There are 4 squads, 7 apiece. Of course, that's 28. The final 4 players will be determined by tonight's, at the very end of the evening after D squad tonight. There will be a Desperado squad, a 2-game sprint to determine the final 4 players. That will complete the 32-player bracket for tomorrow. And I saw a question about what was working well, what seemed to be perhaps a common theme. I'm not sure if I could really put a finger on that, honestly. But I did see a lot of players have success playing out, especially early. Early on the fresh, there was some success for players playing out, both righties and lefties. The righties started to move in as we got toward the middle of the block, but some of them then moved back out. Like GT2, for example. I think it was around game, 4 or 5-ish. He did jump left, but then got back right, found the ball that he can get back into, that he could get comfortable with again and be able to keep the angles in front of him. There was a little urethane on the lanes yesterday, but there was not much. There was a ton of surface on the fresh. And I think I saw there could be more surface this morning. Be on the lookout for a lot of super washouts and washouts left in general. If you miss the head pin, whether you're a right-handed player or a left-handed player, washouts are in your future. Did see a lot of 5 through the middle actually yesterday as well. So you could leave 5 in every possible way. You could also get 0. Saw a couple of 3 counts. All things are on the table. Speaking of urethane, I'm going to take you to 5 and 6 here in a moment. Anthony Chen looks like, let me confirm, I've got a good eye on the ball return on 5 and 6. Yeah, he's throwing a pitch black at the moment, kind of right up to. Good morning to Carl Ong. Agent Ong and the Agent Ong Open in October. Hello, Carl. Brianna Cote is moving left, so she will be within camera range for a good portion of the day, actually. Players who start on the left lane on their respective pair will move left. Players who start on the right lane on their starting pair will move right. One pair. Today we're going through or down to lane 20. Now 1 through 20 in play for this squad. Going right to left again from the gutter seemed like a good idea yesterday for righties in particular. One more early look here at Bree, and then see what's popping on 5 through 8 4-minute. And just like that. That's about the way you'd want to do it. From the reigning U.S. Women's Open champion. Did you guys watch that show? Hopefully you did on CBS Sports Network. If you didn't watch it live, hopefully you've had a chance to watch it in some capacity since then. Maybe you had to use your DVR. Maybe you had to find it on YouTube. However you got there, hopefully you got there. There's Joe. Now we take a look at 5 through 8 here. And on cue, there is Anthony. And again, on the fresh, I thought you could do what Anthony is doing here and make it look really good. The key is whether or not you could repeat it, man. Execution on this pattern, so important. The slightest of miscues at release point could really get you in trouble. There's Jack Sullivan, my guy from the Chicagoland area. Wow. I did see a couple of players yesterday on the fresh and on A squad playing them the way Jack is trying to play. Try not to give it away too much, but not going up 2, 3, 4, 5. Jackson around the track area. Himself a nice break. We'll see Anthony Chin here on the left. Good morning, Coach. And you just hope to be able to break down splits. Carl, who was in the building yesterday watching, now he's in the chat, of course, but he mentioned paying the ultimate penalty. And there you saw Anthony right there. Miss left, right? You just want to break down the split. That's all you're hoping for. If you haven't seen it, here's what the players are bowling on. .42 feet, 35 mils. Again, interesting looking graph, but there is friction available. But missing left or right early is really the detriment. All right, Mark Larendow with three in a row. Here's Tony Schroeder stepping up on lane 8. Again, you want to be in the top 7. Top 7 gets you an automatic spot into match play. Now your finish in that top 7 determines whether or not you get a 2-round bye, a 1-round bye, or 0 byes, but it does get you into the bracket. Brian Richardson. It's got to hook a little. That one hooked a lot. Alan? Well, first of all, congrats on getting that new ball. There's still nothing like the new ball feel, right? It's like getting a new car. Although, you know, unless you've got the budget to get as many new cars as some folks get new balls. Never forget that feeling, especially as a young tyke. You get that new ball, you feel like, oh, I'm about to just strike. I still get that every now and then as an adult, although I don't drill anything anymore. But to your question or point there, Alan, I cannot speak because I haven't thrown the ball, but I have seen a lot of people throw it. I've heard some good things about it. In fact, I've heard so many good things that say, well, gotta get my wife one of those so she can fill a gap in her bag. I'm gonna give myself one too. I was a huge OG Black Widow fan. It might be my favorite ball of all time. It's between that and the Ultimate Inferno. And I've got one OG blank right now in my house. Nice spare. Mr. Manning. It's an opportunity now to save 150 with that spare. He'll need to double in the 10th to do it. Cote did shoot 185. It's like Joe Grondin. Joe might get to 2-teen. He is going to get to 2-teen. That's a name, folks. If you've never heard of Joe Grondin, that would be a name to put in your memory bank. If you say, man, who could win this tournament? Well, everyone could win it. But if you get into the nuts and bolts of it, Joe Grondin would be someone you would say that could win this tournament. He made the finals at the Bradley Open this year. On the PBA side of things, he did make his, I believe, his first career show. I don't remember where it was, but it was earlier in the season. Former Wichita State Shocker. He can bowl. Got a good cross too today. He's crossing with Brianna Cote, and they are moving left. So we will see them more and more in the first these next few games. Good morning to Jason, and what's up, Rep? Thank you to Eric. Well, minus the split in the ninth, Jack had really managed things well. He's got to make this 5-pin and get himself into 180. And listen, yesterday Cortez Shank got in there with -1. Probably won't be that last squad to have a 7th B minus. So the patience is very important. It is 8 games. Thank you, Emerald. I knew he had made a show. I just didn't remember where. It was in Shawnee. I think he finished 3rd, maybe 4th. Either way. Nice shot. Nice save from Mark, too, here. He started with consecutive opens. 3 in total, including the split in the 4th. Managed to throw 3 in a row from 6th through 8. And the 9 spare, obviously, here a double. And a good count will get him in the 190s. Big fill shot here for Jack, I think. He's going to move over to 7 and 8 in the second. He already trying something a little further left there. It's a 1-5, or I'm sorry, 1.5 to 1. Regarding the ratio, I'll throw that back on the screen here in a minute. So it is flat. So we didn't see a ton of players making that big jump left early. But games 3 and 4, you did start to see it. Transition sure played a part in that too. Fill shot here for Anthony. Tried a different piece of urethane. And now we move on to game 2 officially. And now we can, let's throw the pattern back up on the screen. It's actually 1.43 to 1. Slightly asymmetrical, 1.47 on the left. There's some work involved to get what you need to get to done on this. Nice job here by Alec. That's 3 in a row on the board. Wow, Aiden, someone is actually going to throw that 49-footer out there, huh? Man, they really want to challenge you. Looks like 5 and 6 is about to begin. Regular point in the 10th frame. 201 for Alec, by the way. Nice opening shot there for Anthony Cando. I don't remember if I saw him here last year or at the New Mexico Open, but it was one of the two. You guys got me thinking about bowling balls already this morning. Already curious what everyone's favorite bowling ball might have been back in the day, or currently is, or all time, however you want to do it. Or the what's in your bag segment. It's 7:39 here in Arizona, and yesterday I met a very nice gentleman here in the bowling center. I cannot remember his name. I want to say Don, and I apologize for misremembering his name. I used to remember names so well. It was like one of my best attributes. Kids have really taken that away. I need to eat more carrots or something to make sure I get that memory bank back in line. But nonetheless, if it's Don, maybe Dan, but I think it was Don. Don said he would be watching this morning. I told him hopefully he's eating breakfast. He's got his cup of coffee. So if you are watching, Don, hello to you. Told you I would do it. I would say hello to you. I apologize if I didn't get the name right. Rep, I don't know. I mean, outside of a combo between Theo, I'll see what I can find out. See where Jack will begin to play here. Moved a little bit further left on his fill shot. Immediately shook his head no to say that, nope, that's not the right move. That's got a chance. All right, Mark is down now on 9 and 10. He thought he was bowling on 5 and 6, but he's moving right. I think we'll know a lot about this squad and how it's going to go once we see Bree and Joe, because by the time they end game 4, which will take place on 5 and 6, we'll obviously have half of the squad complete. Michael Fitzgerald is also on this squad, and he too is moving left. Matt Jones is also bowling, if you're familiar with local players in the area. In fact, last year, this tournament was held in September in its inaugural season, and Matt bowled early Saturday and then was inducted into I believe it was either the State Hall of Fame or the Metro USB or Metro Phoenix Hall of Fame. But he was inducted into the Hall of Fame later that night. Along with, there was one other player who bowled this tournament, or didn't bowl it, I can't remember, but who also was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I missed the wrong lane situation, but I did see Theo down here on 5 and 6, and I'm sure he handled that situation. Billy, you got the purple hammer. Which Widow is it, Billy? The 2.0 we're talking about? You know what I need is a phase 2. And because I don't really bowl that much anymore, I feel like I've missed out on that party. But it's still a party because everyone's got it still in their bag, which means that's a great piece. When you see common bowling balls across the sport in general, doesn't matter what level of bowling it is, to me, in my opinion, but especially at the highest levels. Nice shot by Joey. Like yesterday, and at some point through every squad, Theo will join us and discuss what's going on. We'll have a score update here pretty soon, and I'll drop that link for you, and then I'll pin it to the chat. Marlon Brown. That's right, Marlon, you are bowling this afternoon. Look forward to seeing you. If anyone else is bowling this afternoon as well, look forward to seeing all of you too. Again, 3 squads today. Started at 7 a.m. Local time here this morning. We'll have a 12:30 local and then a 6 p.m. local tonight. And that will follow, or that will be followed by the Desperado 2-game sprint. Last year we had a roll-off in the Desperado. Will we see another one? Hopefully no. so we can get up out of here tonight. But I've seen my fair share of ties on the PWBA Tour this season. Plenty of ties for important positions in the PBA Tour as well this year also. Jeff M. in the building. Hello, Jeff. Tony was off to a good start, had the early double. And again, you can see what happens when you miss the head pin right. Brianna Cote had a nice fan base, as she always does. Jack Sullivan now leaving back-to-back 3, 6, 9, 10s. As one would imagine, especially in a Pro-Am setting like last night, I stayed to watch kind of the first game just to check things out. I see Pro-Ams all the time on tour, and I just enjoy kind of watching, you know, those first interactions with the local community and their favorite professionals. And there was a nice mix last night. Brianna Cote was out there. Wesley Lowe Jr. bowled. Brian Halen was bowling. Michael Fitzgerald bowled. Cortez Shank bowled. Missing, I think, 1 or 2 players. But watching fans come up to Bree and say, congratulations, I watched that entire match, or I was following you all week. And then, you know, ask different questions about the show. Not something I've never seen before, but, you know, the U.S. Women's Open is a little bit of a different magnitude. Nice shot. Kando Hosen is joining us. Hosen, I'm on the West Coast, so what time is it? Was it about 10 or 11 p.m. Hosen? If you are new to the channel, folks, please do me a favor. I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up on this broadcast, and certainly subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe is the best way to make sure you stay up to date. When we go live, you get that notification like I did this morning. Got a 10K goal by the end of the year. Trying to hit the 10K subs goal if we can get there. Approaching 7,000. Got a nice bump last week at the Midnight Bowler Society. Shout out to Danny Spink and Billy Locke. Also Brad and Kyle. We were simulcasting. Able to utilize Brad and Kyle as well as Bowlstream TV. Got a few more events upcoming in the season and maybe more. A couple of youth events still to go in October. The Agent Ong Open also in October. Maybe some other stuff potentially in October as well. There's a ton of bowling going on. The LBC PBA. Shout out to my guy Phil Brylow on the PBA YouTube channel. I think there are several regionals around the country. I think there's one in the West region also. Tony's got something brewing here on 5 and 6. So does Anthony Kando. Ball change there for Jack. And still 3, 6, 9, 10. Now that's tough when you obviously trying to figure this thing out. When you leave successive 3, 6, 9, 10s, that's rough. We got some good bowling going on next door to us as well. Ron Schloss putting in work. Pretty sure, remember, he had himself a good event last year. He's next door on 3 and 4. We'll see him next. He's moving right. Let's take a quick look at Bree here. This is game 2. Again, and the penalty. It's Michael Fitzgerald. He is working on a 3-bagger. Oh, and make it 4. John Meyer over to the right. Here's Brianna Cote. Bree currently on a 3-bagger, looking to make it 4 as well. And does just that. And you hear the cheers. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Sun City, I learned a lot about it last year, my first time, but this community is really a senior community. We'll give a shout out to Mike Dermeyer, who does a great job here as the director of bowling. There are 2 bowling centers in this area, of course, Lakeview being one. Very nice 24-lane center. And last night, seniors had an opportunity again to bowl with some of their favorites. One of them, Brianna Cote, and there are some fans in attendance sitting right behind Bree right now. Hello, Sally, watching from Pocatello, Idaho. You know what I got to do now, Sally? I've got to go to Google. And I've got to say, where is Pocatello, Idaho? You guys remember Carmen Sandiego? That was a prominent childhood show of mine. Where in the world is Pocatello? I appreciate you, Sally, for checking out bowling this morning. Sally, do you know anybody that's bowling today? You just happen to hear about the event. Maybe you subscribed, got a notification. 321, a local right here in Sun City. Well, thank you for sharing your your city and bowling center with us here this weekend. Onslaught to finish out with 236. That might be the high game. Speaking of that, let's check the standings here for this squad. Olsen, I'm disappointed in you. That's unbelievable. Of all the people I've yet to subscribe, Olsen is the one. Olsen, when I do this first giveaway, whenever that happens, maybe it'll be the 10K. Now I got to exclude you, Olsen. All right, here's the link for current results. See if I can shorten that up for you here. Cote can go 9 spare strike for 200 even. Just next door, we've got, what, 8 out of 9. I think it's Michael Fitzgerald. All right. Reed did shoot 196. That's Fitzgerald. Michael, he'll finish with the 810 there, but he'll be in the 250s. right, kids, let me know if that link works for you. It should. 255 officially for Michael Fitzgerald. All right, as we finish up on 5, 6, 7, and 8. Hello, Mary. I'm going to pin that results link to the top of the chat, so you should be able to see it at the top. So when you get to the standings right now, it should be, and you'll see the drop-down menu. Right now it's set to only this squad, but you can change it and go up to, and then you'll see all of the competitors on one page, which will include every squad at some point. But right now we're just looking at only Saturday, which is the easiest way to do it. John Conaway shot 215 in game 1. Andrew Kane 213. Nice shot there by Sullivan. Jack has figured something out. The man went 3-6-10, or I'm sorry, 3-6-9-10, 3 consecutive frames, and now has a 5-bagger. Joe Grondin shot 211 after game 1. Alec Johnson 201. We had a couple of players shoot 199, and 195 was -5 after game 1. Joey Uriel, who we are watching here, white polo, 189 to start, but he too now with a 3-bagger and trying to save 190. That's a good shot. Nice. No carry there, I know, but that was a great shot. Nice. Zach Sullivan. It took him a little bit to get loose. Listen, hard to get that arm swing loose when you see 3, 6, 9, 10 a lot. Used to bowl with and against Jack a lot back in our youth days. Jack is from the Chicagoland area. His parents now live in the Metro Phoenix area, so he made the trip. Had a great lodging situation, obviously. And here he is, taking his opportunity at 10K. You don't want to pass it up, folks. Spread the word about this event. Well, you even found a little shim there, too. Just asking for that one to lay off. Nice finish. Folks, if you're just joining us, again, Jacqueline 8 spare, 3, 6, 9, 10 missed it, 3, 6, 9, 10 made it, 3, 6, 9, 10 missed it. Sheet. I'm going to give him a lot of grief for that, but 229 will get it done. Final shot here for Greg LaPointe, and game 2 will officially be complete. All right, 169.
What move did you make? Huh? What move did you make? Besides ball change.
I didn't move. I just started throwing it better.
Okay.
Felt like I was lined up even the last game. I just was making bad shots. I was fishing to figure out what it was. The ball was like something. Like I could tell that ball was something early. And then he took it down because like once I knew it was gonna hook early, then I could start making better shots.
I'm gonna give you more grief about this game later.
Huh?
I'm gonna give you more grief about this game later.
That's all right.
I know.
I was going at a 140 pace.
I was like, that's a heck of a game.
All right, we'll have Anthony Cando, Brianna Cote, and Joseph Grandin on 7 and 8. Ron Schloss is kicking things off on 5 and 6. Schloss, by the way, shot 236 again in game 2. He shot 159 in game 1. U.S. Women's Open champion. The reigning U.S. Women's Open champion. Brianna Cote, 2-4-10 to start here on lane 7. Ooh, another spare make. She has got the contingent following. Speaking of Mrs. Cote. All right, and game 3 also brings us our first guest. One of our proud sponsors here, the CBE Cactus Classic. He did bowl yesterday too, so we can get some real-time feedback, if you will, on what he's watching in comparison to what he saw yesterday when he bowled. Please welcome Ryan Riley to the Bowlstream TV booth of 10 Back Bowling Solutions. First and foremost, I asked you why you were here this morning. Now I know why, because you're going to sit here with me for a bit. But I appreciate you hanging out. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Yourself?
I'm doing well.
Good.
You know, it's an early pace. It's early. Got a long day today.
Yeah.
So we just kind of pace it a little bit. Good bowling never hurts, though.
Nope, not at all.
If you got a full day of bowling, if there are a few strikes, that does make the day go by a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
All right, so 10 Back Bowling Solutions. Tell me a little bit about 10 Back, how it happened, when it happened. How can people support you?
So we took over in October of 2021. Got an opportunity. Luckily, I had the support of my family to help make it happen. And, took over and just haven't looked back since. Just keep trying to get bigger, better at helping people in the community. So we love bowling. So anytime we get a chance to sponsor this kind of stuff, it really, I try to take advantage of it. So, you know, if anybody just comes in, have any questions, needs any help, we always try to get everybody taken care of. So.
Now, when you say took over, did the business already exist? Are you able to kind of handle it from that regard, or you were working at a different shop kind of thing and then made your way over?
So I worked in a shop for a little while and then had to go and get another full-time job to get stuff taken care of, and then I got an opportunity to purchase a shop from someone else, you know, at that location, because they were just wanting to downsize a little bit. So made that transition and it was really smooth and doing pretty well.
Nice. So this lane condition, it's tricky to say the least. You bowled on it yesterday. What did you find, or what were your takeaways from the condition from your vantage point in your eyes, and how players might try to be successful on this weekend?
I think that ball speed's probably the most important aspect right now. If you get your first step going too fast and you get your ball speed up, it's just the ball never reads. I think I know I got tricked yesterday trying to play straighter. I'm not good at keeping the ball in front of me. So, you know, I think there was plenty of hold playing further left to start. Wish I would have tried it, but, you know, you live and you learn. There's a lot of great players in this squad, a lot of guys that are good at keeping it in front of them, like Grondin and Van Daniker, so they should do pretty well. And then I think the biggest thing is just not be afraid to chase it left when, you know, it just starts to go away.
Yeah, we saw a few players do that too, from the chasing it left perspective, specifically righties. Mm-hmm. Some players ended up moving back right. I'll be interested to see. We won't see Jack for. We can see him for a little bit, but he's moving to the high end or down to the high end. But he's finally figured out something that looked comfortable. I did ask him, by the way, folks, what his move was, and he said he didn't actually move. He finally just started to throw it better. And sometimes that actually is the answer.
Absolutely.
Theo letting us know that scores are updated. This is game 3 of 8. 8-game squads, 3 squads today, and the 2-game Desperado tonight. Again, scores are updated. And now Michael Fitzgerald has moved to the top of the list. Plus 40 after 255 in game 2. Andrew Kane plus 19, he's second. Jack Sullivan after the 229, third at plus 14. John Conaway, fourth at -1. There's a tie for fifth with Matt Jones and Ron Schloss, -5. And Joe Grondin is seventh at -8. Anthony Kando just outside the top 7 at the moment at -12. Rihanna Cote and Eddie Van Daniker tied at -19. They are 9th at the moment. Anthony Chin is 11th at -21. Mark Learned at -24. He's 12th. Joey Burrell at 13th at -25. Keith Fung 14th at -26. Obviously early and still plenty of games. We'll see some names go up and down this leaderboard here. What would you normally be doing on a Saturday?
Right now, I'd probably be sleeping until it was time to go to the shop. Usually use Saturday as my practice day and go to the shop. When I get done, I try to come here, and they have really cheap 2-hour session. Just come in, throw shots, get some reps in whenever I can.
How far do you live from where we are now?
Probably about 30 minutes.
Okay. Cote not liking 7 and 8 so far. And I thought 7 and 8 was iffy at certain points of the day yesterday. For some, it didn't look great to start, particularly on the fresh. And it looked okay. It was like, all right. So it was kind of roller coastery, if you will.
It was great when I hit it.
It was. Shot 240, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about bowling balls. In fact, who was it? Let's see. Let's scroll up. It might have been Alan. I don't know if Alan's still watching, but he was asking the chat about. And before I ask this question, are you affiliated with any particular brand?
Nope.
Okay.
Free agent. So.
Okay. He was asking about a Black Widow 2.0, but just asking the chat about if anyone had thrown it, their thoughts. I personally hadn't thrown it. The hybrid, excuse me.
Okay.
And but I heard a lot of great things. Have you heard about it? What are some of the hot items in your pro shop, bowling ball wise?
2.0 hybrid, big seller. You know, Brunswick finally got the new HK22 cover, so it's it made a Black Widow skid flippy, and they've just been flying off the shelf. That's just really good. I think they're a little clean, so I try to tell people, you know, to take the surface down a little bit, let them shine up on their own, but that's been pretty good. A lot of the latest Brunswick releases have been really good, so pretty exciting.
Brian Robinson next door with a double on 3 and 4. Ron missed the spare in the 4th, but he's got a pretty good look, as you can see.
Pretty good local senior guy.
He had a good event last year. Folks, as you enter the broadcast this morning, sure to hit the thumbs up. I'm in the booth with Ryan Riley at 10-Bag Bowling Solutions, one of the sponsors here at the CBE 10K Cactus Classic. The second annual. Last year's inaugural event was held in September at this very center. And DL was looking to add a squad, also add a Pro-Am to the event as well, which was mission accomplished because we accomplished both of those things yesterday. There was obviously a squad, and then I talked about the Pro-Am already a little bit this morning.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if some of our fans of Brianna Cote bowled last night, but it wouldn't shock me if they did.
Yeah.
They are here and ready.
Looks like John Conaway's on a 4-bagger. 9 and 10.
By virtue, Joe Grondin's got some fans now, too. He's crossing with Bree all day. Nice shot.
I'll be here all day. Well, one more game. Too old to do 16 games, I'm sorry.
RJ McKnight said, what's up, Ryan?
Oh, hey, how's it going, man?
Ryan the Man Riley, by the way. Exact nickname, what he just called you.
Too nice. Great shot.
Have you seen Joe before?
I watched him a little last year at this event.
Did he bowl last year?
Yeah, I believe so. That's what Thea was telling me.
Oh, I remember him bowl. He to me, he's like the next. He's got that next star status. He's got that next level kind of game.
Yeah.
And as any young player, you know, finds out, but he's starting to trend upward. Brutal 9-pin there for Cote.
Had my fair share of those yesterday. I think they haunt me and give me nightmares.
Is that a common leave for you?
That's probably my most common single pin leave.
Is it your Thanos?
Pretty much.
Ryan, by the way, if you didn't watch him yesterday, his rev rate is what I would consider to be on the higher end. I asked him actually how and when did he pick up? He's a one-handed thumbless bowler, which to me is always I could never do it. No chance I could even if you gave me 2 years to work on it. Probably still couldn't do it. And he's only been bowling for 7 years, you said? Or 8
years.
8 years.
Didn't even know what bowling was until 2014.
So does that also include, I mean, the pro shop portion too, right? You had nothing about bowling.
Nothing.
And so in 8 years, you become a bowler and a pro shop operator.
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
incredible.
When I first started, I first started getting really competitive, like wanting to get better in probably like end of 2015. So where I was getting my balls drilled, I asked the PSO, I was like, can I come back and learn how to do this? You know, I'd be pretty interested in it. And he's like, yeah, sure, you know, you can come back and learn, you know, on your own time. And I think probably in about 4 months, I had my own day working, and I was doing it on my own and drilling my own stuff. So, and then just kind of never looked back.
That's a pretty cool success story. That's just something you don't hear. You hear the first part of it, like late to the actual bowling part in 8 years, but to do that and also become a pro shop operator. I've never heard it in both of those situations, if you will. So shout out to you.
I appreciate it. It's been a fun journey so far.
What are the overall goals for you in that? Would you like to open more shops? That kind of a goal, or obviously continue to be the best that you can for the communities that you serve?
Honestly, I'd probably just want to stick with one location, you know, because I think a lot of it is once you get somebody that you like and you go to a different place and you're not there, you know, everybody doesn't do it the same, you know, everybody reads the ruler different. So I think
well said.
my best bet, I think, you know, just stay with one so everybody comes in, they see one guy, you know, unless I'm out of town. I'd like to bowl some more stops, but get there eventually.
Thank you for giving me the truth, RJ. Ryan, he said you're being way too, or you're being too humble. Extremely good at what he does. I can relate. But I appreciate you giving me that truth. I feel him, though. You know, he's hopping on the live stream. Doesn't want to sound like he knows everything. I get it, Ryan. You know, you're holding back. Don't hold back, bro.
No. Nope. Just always more to learn. Just never can perfect it. There's always more, always evolving. So I just try to keep an open mind and learn as much as I can along the way.
Have you got into coaching at all?
So not really.
Okay.
That's not my strong suit.
Okay.
And I don't use my thumb, so I get a thumb in bowler. Well, how do I clear the thumb faster? I can't tell you. But there's some class opportunities eventually to get out there and do that. So.
Well, I mentioned 7 and 8 not being kind to Mrs. Cote here. Jack Sullivan, meanwhile, has continued to bowl well. It took him about a game and some change to really feel good. He has continued that. This is to save 160. Hey, that could go a long way. Saw what happened yesterday, and you knew it would come down to the final game, as it always does anytime there's there's automatic spots for advancement. Came down to the last couple of shots in the 10th frame from a few players to determine who is going to earn that top 7 berth in yesterday's squad. And who knows how this spare might impact Bree. She's going to get a different look at a different piece of equipment. Meanwhile, Greg LaPointe has got himself a 4-bagger. Joey with the open in the 9th and get to 213. Good shot there from Greg.
Oh.
I'm going to say that this just wasn't the pair for Bree.
Not this morning.
It was the pair for Jack Sullivan a game ago. It's so funny, even still at this point, we watch bowling, like how one pair can be friendly and look great for one player, and it could look the complete opposite for another. Even if they're playing in the same area, the lane, it could even be the same bowling ball, and it might still have that much of a difference. What do you think has been some of the most important things you've learned so far in your bowling journey as both a player and a pro shop operator?
Patience and understanding. Can't overreact. Just got to take it all in, try to process it in a good way. I've really tried to work on my mental game a lot. Eliminate the negativity and focus on what was good about it, even if it's not a good game. Or in the shop, just taking your time. Open in the 10th.
Oh, that's saw that a little bit yesterday, just from players around. Some tough counts on fills. Speaking of opens in the 10th, that's a difficult spare 2 on this 3-9. All of a sudden, we've got some interesting ends to some games here. Ron Schloss with the open in the 10th as well. He started this game just in an incredible manner. Go over to 9 and 10 here. Fitzgerald on a double. Get into the 2 teens with 2 more in the 10th. That's a great one on the first shot in the 10th frame. Jack Sullivan will enter your screen left side. Couple of practice swings there. Maybe a ball change on the fill, but another string to end the game for Jack. He started this string a little bit earlier, I think. 1 frame early, and it results in 256.
It's a lot.
Threw the back 8, and then in the previous game he threw the back 6, I believe, for 229.
Wow.
And again, folks, Jack went he went 8 spare. And I don't know if you guys can tell me, this is actually a good question for the chat. You tell me what your, most interesting game was, right? And so Jack went 8 spare, 3, 6, 9, 10, missed it. 3, 6, 9, 10, made it. 3, 6, 9, 10, missed it. Sheet.
It's a fun one.
So I'll leave it up to you in the chat. If you've got any fun, if you want to call it that, fun experiences like that, which, resulted in plus territory. You didn't sheet it for 180 to save 180 in that regard. He did get to 220 plus and turns that into 256. And heck, might even probably is the leader potentially at this point now after 3 full games. Game 4 is set to begin. Ryan, how long do we have you here for?
I'm here for a while.
Until Theo says, all right.
Until one of you two kick me out of here.
Okay. Derek Acuff in the building. Tony also says, what's up, Ryan? Derek says hello as well. Derek, they are difficult.
Not easy.
For every new player that we get into, or new viewer, I should say, that we get. Let's throw the pattern on the screen so you can see what's good. There it is right there, 42 feet, again, 35 mils. It's tricky to say the least, but right now, Jack Sullivan is probably outside of he and Michael Fitzgerald, haven't seen Andrew Kane yet.
How you playing? It was uphill, so not up outside edge, but like up like 10 or just with the big ace himself, doing a roll in and trap. Still shot it just through a little bit further inside shape. Okay.
Way to go, Brianna. Hey, you're gonna win because it's all purple.
Just full shot.
How much did you pay them?
A little bit inside, nothing drastic. Okay.
So it's time to bump never so slightly. Got some info from Michael Fitzgerald. I don't know if you guys heard him or not, but he was playing him out and up, keeping the angles in front, and then now he is beginning to kind of make that small move left, like many players are at this point, specifically righties. Right around where and what Jack is doing. And again, that's another good sign when people watch obviously who's striking, right? Especially if you're bowling. If you're not bowling good, so it's like, all right, well, let's watch what Jack is doing. And so everyone is kind of right around this time, which kind of happened yesterday too. Game 4, you start to see that small migration left for righties. Actually, Wesley Lowe was in at like 4th arrow pretty early, and he's left-handed. Probably hooks it a little bit more than most or some lefties for sure, but
Yeah, he was definitely getting after it yesterday.
John Meyer, Ron Schloss, Michael Fitzgerald. We'll keep an eye on Jack Sullivan. Rana Cote, Joe Grondin. And one player that I don't know. I'll be on the search for score sheet here in a minute. I don't know what this password was. Updated standings coming your way. It's interesting. I thought we were going to see a ton of super washouts because there were a ton left yesterday. That might have been the first one that I've actually seen.
Jackin did take the lead after 3 of being plus 70. Let's see here. Let's go through the top 7. Mike Fitzgerald in second, plus 59. Third, Matt Jones, plus 40. Had a nice third game, 245. Fourth, Eddie Van Daniker, plus 29, with also 240 that game. Fifth, Andrew Kane, plus 26. Sixth, John Conaway, plus 20. And the cut, number 7, Joe Grondin at minus 9.
Minus 9 the number after 3 complete. So refresh your link to get that tab open. If you missed it, just look at the top of the chat. You'll see a pinned message.
So I think the scoring pace is pretty close to what it was yesterday. I think when I looked leading after 3, it was like plus 70 or 80.
Yep. I feel like Jacob Butcher was at like plus 81, plus 82 for a few games. He was 2-0 him for a while, and then able to catch another 220 plus game late. Got some interesting games out there too. We were talking about Jack Sullivan's game earlier. Rep said the first time he made the 7-10, went front 5, blowout 7-10 in the 6th inch sheet. 10 strike 274. That's always fun.
Good one.
Front 9, 4 through the middle. Jamal's set on Dick Weber pattern. 3-bagger, 9-spare, 3-bagger, gutter spare sheet
Wow.
for $249.
My favorite is the 12-strike 290s. Gutter spare
The old
sheet.
gutter.
Done that quite a few times.
Little purple hammer action. Derek Acuff, 11-strike, 250. How is that possible? Did we go gutter? We didn't go double gutter in the 10th, did we?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be a double gutter somewhere for 11-strike, 250. Okay, front 6 gutter Greek church sheet.
Oh, fun.
This is that point of the show, and I think of live streams, specifically bowling, as I'm a big sports radio kind of person, right? So I'm always listening to sports radio, sports talk radio, and I'm liking broadcast to a radio show, if you will. And this is like the point of the show where you would be accepting callers about whatever funny story, whatever it is. And what's coming in here is really funny, actually. RJ, 11-strike gutter on the 12th ball.
Oh,
He said good old Deer Valley. That sounds like it's local.
used to be. Yeah,
Okay.
that used to be a fun place. With quotations on the fun.
Thank you, Coco Gin. Shout out to John Meyer. Repping Oasis Pet Grooming, one of our sponsors here at the CBE. In fact, thanks to all of our sponsors. It's Brunswick, it's Desert Chapel, MCC, it's Oasis Pet Grooming, Ramsey, 10 Back, True Amateur Tournaments, Desert Southwest, West USA Realty, as well as Yates, Buick, and GMC. And then, of course, sponsors who have been through them all. The top tier. Sponsors EFX and Chuck's Painting.
Another ball change for Brianna. I think that's another common thing with this ball center is the track is really dominant. So when people are starting to play too straight, and if they don't make a big enough move, they try to get into the track area, and it tends to just read a lot quicker. And
That's one of the things I've learned over my experience, as I like to say, kind of from this side of the action, if you will. Not in the settee, but behind it, and just watching, learning about the house characteristics of a particular center. And sometimes, you talk to a proprietor or local players, people who bowl the Pro-Am and bowl at the center that, they know it well. And you learn a lot of those things. Sometimes you go to a center like on tour that you've been to multiple times, so you got an idea. Players have an idea because they keep copious notes about where they go, pair to pair, which lane hooks more than the other.
Yeah.
The extensive notebooks that you see on tour really is incredible. And then now, so when you get to a pattern like this where you know it's going to be difficult, but as I was saying yesterday, most of the time, players just want to know that they have friction, which there is friction.
Yep.
Just got to figure out how to get it there in the right way. Because if it's the wrong way, it could be bad.
Yeah, it's really easy to get 5-3.
Five-3 was common yesterday for a little bit.
Had my fair share. Super washouts, not my friend.
Did you go 5 through the middle a little bit?
Twice.
Twice.
Did that in my best league game too. I think I went front 6, super washout through the middle, so 5-dash. Then strike to the 11th and super washout whiff again, 250, 240.
I'm trying to think of one. I mean, because we've all had that type of game. I feel like I took my break of bowling was so long that I don't remember any good things that, or funny things that have happened. All right, let me go find this gentleman's name here. I'm assuming you don't know because I know you would have told me.
Yeah, I'm not,
By
I'm not
now.
sure.
Because I like how he's throwing it, and he looks like the only one left to maybe be exclusively using urethane at the moment, at least. Ron walks it out to the right. I like Ron's style. He looks like he's just a fun dude to hang out with, talk a little bowling, talk a little life.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy.
He said earlier he was too old to bowl 16 games, so he's got to get this done in one try today.
He says that if it comes down to it, he'd be bowling again. I think that might be it.
Thanks, Ryan. You got Kevin Valmonte. He was tied for 12th at -36 after 3 games. Hello, Scooby. Good to see you, my friend. And again, thank you again, Coco Jen. Love the name, by the way. First open frame, unfortunately, there for John. He was off and running. Still got an opportunity to get into the 240s. Starting to see a few more strings. Oh, wow. Oh, goodness.
Trapping it in the track.
Man. That would have been arguably the roughest 9-pin I'd ever seen. Because that ball was not going left as it was entering the 1-3.
Yes.
I mean, it was, but not at a vicious angle,
Yeah,
right?
where you forward through.
Yeah. Wow. Do you know if Michael enjoys Fitz? Like, do people call him Fitz?
Let's just say I don't think I've heard more than 5 people call him Michael.
Okay. Okay.
So I think he's okay with it.
I got to ask him that because I wanted to say it. But, you know, sometimes a nickname that you think is typical, depending on that person's name, they may not enjoy.
Yeah.
but he talked about the moves he was about to make, and he has moved in a little bit. Extremely, extremely good player. A chance to see him not only these last couple of years here, but he's bowled another event or two that I've been at that he was participating in. Higher, mixing them up. Nice.
Locked in.
I like what he's got going on. That's great. People get confused when someone calls him Michael. That's great. That's when you know you're in one's local community where everyone knows that person and they've got all the nicknames and such. Mm-hmm. You know, because if we see him at let's say he bowled the Masters, which I think he did, or some national event, right?
Yeah.
He would be Michael to those in the booth, just because. More than likely, they may not know him on that level.
Yeah.
So whatever it says on the back of your jersey is what we go with.
Yeah. Should just get some jerseys that just say Fitz on the back.
We should. We get the put the quotation Fitz quotation in the middle of his name.
Yeah.
One more for John, and that's going to put him in the 240s.
On 7 and 8, I might add.
See, we have one game later. One game, and very possible that everyone minus Ron, but he can still get to 190. But it could be 230, which it will be for John here. 220 possibly for Michael, 190 possibly plus for Ron. Look a little. Bang.
There you go. Good shot.
Thing with Joe, I think he's got the ability to make changes quickly at the bottom of his swing. To me, right, when you can get to the bottom and say, okay, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and whichever one you decide you could do it. I feel like he's got that ability. We've already kind of seen him maneuver the lane a little bit just this game alone.
Yeah.
What do you think bowlers to be successful, besides patience, which is what you said earlier, which I completely agree with, when you're talking about trying to make physical game changes or adjustments to combat a pattern, what do you think is important as a player to kind of have in the toolbox, if you will?
I think it's always good to have some tricks, but I think most importantly, the really good bowlers learn how to get really good touch. I need this ball to go a little bit more forward. I need to get around this one a pinch just to get it to read. I think that's probably the biggest aspect that people should focus more on, is just getting better touch. Because a lot of especially the younger bowlers, two-handers, just grip it and rip it. And then that's what makes Belmo so good. His touch is just amazing. So that's probably what I'd say.
I'll tell you what, Kevin's got the right touch at the bottom here. He's still trying to figure out something consistent. These last couple of games, let's see, she's gone 185, 196, 163. This will be 178 with a strike. She's yet to shoot 200. But Matt Zweig, who was in the chat, he had a similar situation yesterday, and the back four he owned and figured out a way to make the top 7. And someone of obviously Cote's caliber has that ability to do that. You would almost expect her to do it because of that caliber and ability.
Yeah.
Kevin would like that shot back, I know, but he's gone 202, 200 the last 2 games. Oh my. Oh, goodness gracious. Maybe the head pin came back off the sidewall to take out the 7 and the 9.
Yeah, that ball just pushed forever.
Uh-oh, don't get one. 200 even. That's one of those games where, you know, we've been sitting here talking about them, and you look up, and it's only 200. And you, like, that's what's so frustrating sometimes about bowling.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because he went, so he's gone 160, 202, 200, 200.
And he threw it great this game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, of course, 7, 6. I mean, he handled business, made the spares, made the 310 in the 9th. And it's going to he gains no pins.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, thankfully he didn't lose it, obviously, but.
Yeah, it's rough when you're in that situation. You're just grinding and you can't get the 220 to try to gain some ground. But still a lot of games left, so.
Is that yours?
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, I had one, and when he moved it, I'm like, oh shoot, I had one of those. Where is it? It's okay. I'll figure it out. Maybe I drank it.
Maybe. Put it in the paddock.
It's okay. I've been all over the place yesterday. I was cleaning out my equipment to be strategic when I fly.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so I'm putting things in places that I don't normally store stuff. So I got here yesterday, or 2 days ago, set up some stuff, did a quick test, but I didn't do any work with the audio. Right, didn't bother to test the audio board because I know it typically works. Mm-hmm. Right, so I get here yesterday morning and get the board out, but I don't see the power cable and the USB cable that goes along with it. So I'm like, oh, that's strange. That always goes in the same place. I don't even mess around with that.
Yeah.
But when you fly and, you know, trying to make sure everything's on the up and up. By the way, Jack just shot another 230 game. There was also a 237 on that pair. I did not see who he was crossing with. Might have been Anthony Cando. I think it was. And so I get here. I'm like, uh-oh. You know, so I take everything out of the equipment case. I'm looking at this thing is not easy to lose. This is it right here. So you can see it's heavy, and you cannot miss that.
Yeah.
It's in a plastic bag along with another cable. I'm like, that's weird. I run back to the hotel because I did put some stuff in my actual suitcase. Is this game 5, by the way?
I believe this is game 5.
Okay. Rummage through the suitcase, and it's a pretty light suitcase this week. So I'm like, okay, it's not there. So then I immediately go to Google Maps. Where's the nearest Guitar Center? Because now I'm thinking I've got to go buy a new board because I can't just go buy the power cable. Mm-hmm. I got to go buy a whole new board, probably return it because I just need the power cable.
Yeah.
Find one that's actually pretty close. At first, I thought it was had to go 30 minutes away if I had to do it. Then looked again, there was one 15 minutes away, which is way better. Mm-hmm. I get back here, and I'm like, oh, let me look one more time. I open my backpack, and this bag has got like 3 different kind of hidden components, if you will. I take one out, and I'm like, there's the power cable. I brought it on the plane with me to be strategic.
Gotcha.
And almost had a heart attack. And went in and bought a new board. So, having said all of that, I thought I put the water in my bag too, but I don't know if it's there or not.
Oh boy.
Not quite as funny as 11 strike 250s. Fitz is now. So just so I can tell the viewers, I can call you Fitz, right? We just had a combo about that. People call you Michael. No one knows who it is. KJ is in the building.
And just to make sure at some point we're talking about Matt Jones, it's Lunchbox.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, drop it in.
Just got a Matt Jones reference. I'll save. You may have heard Michael just talk about it, or Fitz. This is officially now game 5, back half of the set. Anticipate the lanes to be opening up just enough for some players to begin to string them. I feel like it's so easy to really, feel like you're comfortable enough to lose just that small amount of focus to where you feel like, okay, yeah, your swing's loose. And you can kind of get away with leaking 1, 2, or 3 boards, right? But you still can't do that. Because that's when you, and not that Fitz did that on purpose, but like literally when you feel like, all right, there is some area to play with, there's really not.
Yeah.
Ryan Riley is joining us in the booth of 10-Back Bowling Solutions. Eddie Van Daniker is joining us here on 5 and 6. Again with Fitzgerald and John Meyer. And we see John Conaway now on 7 and 8.
Looks like Matt Jones is still throwing everything too.
Anthony Chin started with urethane on the fresh. Be curious to see if he's still throwing it. He's now down on the high end. Will actually be making the turn to come back on the low end a little bit here.
Yeah, I think that was a purple hammer just went down the lane for him.
KJ said he had to go to work this morning because he bowled so bad. He will see us this evening.
Well, that's good. We're glad he's coming back.
At this point in the block, Ryan, if you were out there, would you have made that move left? Now, earlier you said you might have even tried to play a little further left than most earlier, I should say, in the block. But would you definitely be, I'd say, what, 4th arrow-ish maybe?
Yeah, I'd probably just be left trying to feed it to the track. Low, slower ball speed, create some hold. Especially with the people still throwing urethane up the right. You know, the front part of the lane goes away so fast, and for me, it's just too touchy out there. If I was still out there, you know, my ball, it's either going to hook immediately, or if I gas one, it's never going to read. So I'm like, just avoid that transition altogether. Looks like we got some updated scores.
I'm in. Go ahead, do the honors.
All right, so first place still Jack Sullivan plus 102. Second, Mike Fitzgerald plus 64. Matt Jones in third plus 63. Pretty close, those two. 4, Anthony Chin with 256 got the plus 22. John Conaway fifth plus 18. Andrew Kane 6 plus 16. Eddie Van Daniker plus 6. Just outside the cut, Charlie Price shot a big 237 to get to 18 under. And then 9th, Anthony Kando minus 20. So definitely some shuffling around from that top 4 or the bottom 4 of that and down.
Anthony Chin's numbers 190, 189, 187, 256.
It's great you find that pair and you take advantage of it. It's really loosen the arm swing.
You just kind of hang around for a few games, not hurt yourself, and then able to get a big game. All of a sudden you're not only in the number, but you can never be comfortable. But plus 22 is pretty solid right now. Nice bounce back there from John. He did go 3 off the right, but he made the spare. They're starting to look better. I think maybe that's the proper word. They're starting to look a little better for a lot of players.
Yeah, they're definitely looking a little more blended than they did yesterday.
What made you decide to bowl the first squad?
Well, originally, my thoughts, it's top 7 from each squad. It's Friday. Most people work. I don't usually go into shop till late. All the good bowlers were going to bowl today. And then I show up and I'm like, oh, I'm bowling a tour stop today. So that was my reasoning. Not the most logical, but.
Yeah, no, I felt that. I mean, yeah, in my experience, Friday squads, it can be hit or miss as far as, the overall talent level of one squad. And I saw the roster of Thursday night. I was like, oh, wow. Whoa, I did not anticipate that.
Yeah.
Watching how squads kind of end up, or through the squad, really, the peaks and valleys, ups and downs, if you will, and then how one squad plays the lanes as a whole in comparison to how another squad played the lanes really to start, right? Because however they start is, that's what's going to be the judge of the base on how the lanes end up developing or not developing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a pretty good majority of guys that are still playing fairly straight rather than what happened yesterday.
If I was out there, I would definitely be trying to play him fairly straight. I do think like where Jack Sullivan had got into, where Fitz is, where Eddie Van Daniker is, even John, like to this point, maybe outside of Kevin, right? Because he's still in urethane, but I feel like his release is so clean at the bottom. He's able to not only obviously keep it online, but he's looking for a spot much earlier on the lane because of the equipment that he's throwing than some of the other players, obviously, who still are throwing reactive. Andrew Kane is now in camera view. He's on 11 and 12. Still have the inkling to call him the Prez. Used to be the USBC president years back. If you joined us late today, this is game 5. First squad of today, Saturday, B squad. C squad begins at 12:30 local. Our night squad, 6 o'clock local.
That's going to be a pretty fun squad.
6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Why you said that?
I anticipate a lot of re-entries in the full squad. I know I'm putting myself through the 8 games of torture again. So.
Okay. Yeah, they could end up playing a little way different tonight.
I think they're going to be astronomically tighter. Good shot.
All right, so Ryan, when you're not bowling, when you're not in the shop. Oh. Okay, John, I see you. What did Jacob Buttrick make yesterday?
The lefty version of that.
3-7-9. No, it was the 3-8-10. No, I'm sorry. The no, you're right.
3-7-9.
Yeah, I'm tripping. He had the slow roll on the 10.
Yeah, it was an interesting way of making it, that's for sure.
Anyway, my question, when you're not in the pro shop, when you're not bowling, and I know you're about to be way busier
Yeah.
than you've ever imagined because you and your wife are expecting. But when you do have time, what do you enjoy doing? Any additional hobbies? Are you a golfer, for example?
Really getting into golf.
Okay.
Not very good at it, so I don't expect to do well, but whenever I hit one straight, it makes my whole day.
I've heard that so many times from, folks who are explaining, and I watch golf to a degree. I've been trying to get into it, and when I say trying to get into it, meaning like literally for about a decade, like, okay, I'm going to get into golf. My first bowling industry job was at the Open Championships in Reno, and a lot of folks on the staff played golf. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, that's a good entry point, but time never really, my schedule never really fit when everyone else could, get up and go have some tea times in the morning.
Yeah.
But it's been in my mental brain since then, and I'm like, okay, you got to figure it out. And I'm someone who's like would want to get a lesson and would want to get fitted for clubs. Like, I don't want to go into it feeling like I know nothing, because that's true. I won't know anything.
Yeah.
But if I get a lesson, just like bowling, right, and be like, okay, let's just start there. But maybe I should just start the opposite. Just go out there and hack it up.
That's what I did. I hacked it up for a long time. I actually got called a hack on the course one time. But it's fun. I find it to really help me lately in bowling, because I'm not a finesse kind of guy. I get after it, I throw it harder. So I just try to slam the club down like a baseball bat. So it's really teaching me the timing and the patience, just stare at the ball and swing it nice and easy. So I really think it's been helping my bowling swing. And I think that's true for most really great bowlers. They're usually really good golfers. So I'm doing it backwards, try to get good at golf, and hopefully helps bowling.
Good look at Andrew Kane there. 7-pin for Andrew, still sporting that PBA League jersey. Team LAX.
And I guess the good part about it out here is you can golf year round.
I would imagine that if I lived in this area, there's almost no excuse not to play golf.
No. It gets pretty hot, but it's cheaper that way.
What's the earliest tee time you can get in the area? 5?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow. Which probably would be a very popular time, right?
Very busy, yep.
Kando, who's been solid today. He strikes in the ninth. That is a pair with two, so they're going kind of match play style. Actually, we've got two pairs with two, excuse me, on this this group of lanes right now.
Oh, yeah.
And just like that, man. So easy to miss the head pin. Oh, Brianna Cote got a double over there. On 3 and 4. Let's take a quick look.
Oh,
That's a huge break. That might be our first three-bagger of the day.
two of them.
Yeah, two, you're right, in this game. One more, she's going to be in the 240s. And trying to make that slow climb back into contention for an automatic spot.
Yeah, this game's going to help her out a lot. Oh, there
Wow.
we go.
You know, it's interesting. She got a similar break, if my memory is correct, last year in match play. And it might have been on the same pair. Late to, I forgot who she came back to beat in match play. Might have been the round of 8, maybe, or round of 12. She ends up with 243.6 on the fill for Cote. So Meyer, another one, he'll be in the 230s.
Myers, I like to call him Charlie Brown. Repping the Charlie Brown shirt today.
Coco Jen, is John a big fan of Peanuts, Snoopy? Super random. I took my kids to the dentist earlier in the week, the day before I left to come out here. And, oh, 7-pin nearly stood up. They were playing some old movies, old animated movies, like old as in like 2015. And it was about the time where the Peanuts movie was coming out. And, of course, my kid was 3 1/2 or 3 3/4 at this point. He's almost 4, but he had no idea what it was. So I'm explaining what Snoopy and Charlie Brown and who they are. Wow, again, Kevin, best he can do is 197. But I mean, that's a true grind. He's out here grinding. He's like the Clips right now. You heard of the Clips, Ryan Riley? Oh, Ryan.
Can't say I have.
Ryan. Somebody in this chat has heard of the Clips before. Grinding. That actually should be Joe Grondin's strike song. I'm gonna talk to him about that. It actually kind of fits perfectly his name. That's back-to-back 230s for John. Fitz just keeps on mowing him down. believe Andrew Kane shot 182. He's moving left. He's going to be on 9 and 10. You see Kevin move left to get a look at a reactive piece. 196. I don't know, Ryan. If you're Kevin, throwing it good, not giving away the pocket, obviously, with what has been working. Obviously, make it. Not producing 2-0, or I'm sorry, not producing 2-team or more at this point. Do you keep trying to grind it out? Do you look for maybe that extra double?
I definitely think I'm looking into reactive options at that point.
Okay.
And I tend to have the same issue too. Whenever you're throwing it really good with urethane, you tend to, you don't strike. Okay, maybe that one was me. Okay, bad rack, that was me. And it's like sometimes you just got to get out of it, and it's really hard because you want to, like you said, you want to control the pocket and not split. But at some point, it's if you're throwing it good, you can't keep telling yourself it's you. You got to get out of it.
Yeah, that would be hard for me. I might lean towards staying in it solely based on the scoring pace.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to keep shooting 192-0. Just from the focus perspective, because you got to stay in it mentally every single shot.
It looks like he just went to reactive ball.
But that is probably the right move. And you look at the rest of the field at this point, right? All right, what's the rest of the field doing? And at worst, right, he gets in, doesn't see what he wants to see initially, and go back to what he was doing. At least know he can control the pocket that way too.
Absolutely.
In the booth with Ryan Riley, 10-back bowling solutions. My name is Emil Williams Jr. If you're just joining us. Second squad overall, but it's the first one of the day here at the CBE 10K Cactus Classic. Tournament director Theo Duthay running around, getting scores and making the score updates as timely as possible. We appreciate him for that. Thanks to everyone here at Lakeview Lanes in Sun City, Arizona. Very nice facility. They had a separate billiards hall down on the low end beyond lanes 1 and 2. George's Cafe, always a place to frequent if you're in the area. I'm talking like I've been here for 15 years. It's only my second time, but you definitely want to go to George's.
Good place for sure. Prices are good.
My memory is starting to come back to me a little bit, but I feel that Ben Perry last year ran someone down as well in match play.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think he forced either a roll-off or won a match. That might have been maybe against Michael Haugen.
Actually, I think it was. I think you're right. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's hard. I barely remember yesterday.
When I'm on the air, sometimes people will compliment, hey, man, how do you remember so much stuff or know X, Y, and Z? And a lot of it is just you do commit things to memory because you're used to seeing certain things you do recall. And then now it's a little more difficult to recall every single thing that I used to.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I would have knew exactly what Ben Perry did in the 10th to make it happen. I knew Bree had a similar break or breaks in the 10th as well that she just got in that 240 game.
Are you okay with this?
Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh. Ryan. Boy. Folks, we've got an announcement to make. It's probably actually going to bring out a lot of folks in the chat who are going to agree with you. Ryan seems to be a Packers fan. based on his case, his phone case.
Yep, sure am.
Just pointed out to me by Theo. I don't know why he would do such a thing. Are you over that whole Aaron Rodgers situation?
I am probably the happiest guy ever that he's gone. And I had the drama with him, so.
How did you become a Packers fan?
I just been a fan since I was a kid.
Okay.
I was born here, but some of my family's from Wisconsin, so.
Gotcha. All right, that's acceptable. You're not a Cubs fan, though, right? Just give me that.
No,
Okay.
I don't watch baseball,
Okay.
so.
All right.
It's really hard to try to root for the Cardinals, so I just gave up, and I'm just going to stick with my team.
Well, the move for Kevin to get to reactive. He went Brooklyn on the first one, but that didn't stop him. He threw 2 very good shots, and it looks like the one. You see Andrew Kane into your screen there. Billy J says denial right there. Oh, Paul's a Minnesota Vikings fan. He hit us with the old skull.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what. Now, to Paul's credit, just as a Vikings fan, the Twin Cities, specifically Cedarville Lanes in Eagan, Minnesota, has hosted a PWBA national stop for several years, definitely since the relaunch. And I think it was either 2017 or 18, one of the years, but there was a TV show. And the fans, I mean, just kind of came decked out in Vikings gear, and they did the whole skull thing, you know, to capture it on TV. It actually was really cool to see it in that environment. But, you know, obviously we're talking about bowling center in a very intimate audience, and so it was, you know, very loud and cool and great for TV. So I give Minnesota a shout out. Twin Cities area, a lot of credit for it.
They're a pretty loyal fan base. So.
Yeah, Randy, I won't hold it against him either. I'm a Bears fan, full disclosure. So I'm supposed to dislike Ryan, but he's such a good dude, so I can't dislike him, at least on the air.
Yeah. Come ask me after the show, Randy. It's going to be fun this year. New quarterbacks.
It is a new era.
Great shot.
John is making his way back. We've reached the time here on 5 and 6 where we've got a duo. Ben Perry on Conaway. And Danica really gets out of it well. There are more strikes, at least in our general viewing area. And again, as Matt mentioned earlier, we watched the, you assume the scoring pace is going to pick up a little bit when you get to this point late. Now, what Kevin was not leaving with urethane was 5 through the middle, and he just left one of those. Looks like back-to-back splits for him. And that is the give and take.
Yeah, I think the one before that he got it right. And I just never saw it. And, you know, I don't want to get it to the right, so I'm going to pull this one.
I can't believe it's only 9:30.
I feel like I've been up for 8 hours.
Squad's almost over. It's funny.
All right, some updated scores after 5. So we had a lead change. Mike Fitzgerald's now in first, shooting 267 that game to get to plus 131. Jack Sullivan with the 160 that game in second at plus 62. Matt Jones in third at plus 36. John Mayer up in fourth now at the plus 9. Joe Grondin in fifth, plus 3. Anthony Chin 6, plus 2. Andrew Kane now in the number at minus 2. And then just outside the number in eighth, you got Ron Schloss at minus 20 and John Conaway at minus 24. So that leaderboard's been changing almost every game.
Yeah, this is interesting. What's different than to a degree yesterday, where I feel like 5 names never left the top 7, I think, from the start yesterday. At least 5. Matt Zweig was out and then obviously made his run late and moved into that number late. Cortez Shank was out for a little bit, made his way back in. But like the top 5 never really left. Their order changed a little bit, minus Jacob Butcher.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a ton of movement.
Yeah, I think Fitz, Jack, and Matt have basically been 1, 2, and 3 since game 2.
Now Myers in. Joe was in it for a bit. I think Joe hasn't really left the top 5. Anthony Chin has been in it for a few games. Andrew Kane. Ron Schloss was in for a bit. He's now 9th. John Conaway was in for a game or 2 earlier. I don't think Ben Perry was in.
No.
And then now Charlie Price and Brianna Cote are tied at minus 35. So still plenty of opportunity for players right now outside of this top 7. Actually looking ahead here, this is game 6. Ron was moving right. So he's going to be on the high end when we finish up, or when we get to game 8, I should say. Just thinking ahead on who's going to be around the number. Rhea is about to make the turn to the high end, so she's going to be down there when we start thinking about the cut number. Anthony Kando was moving right. Van Daniker is moving right. Almonte also moving right. Jack, now he's going to finish on 19 and 20. Matt is moving left, correct?
Yes, Matt.
Okay, so we'll see Matt Jones at the end of, well, we can actually see him now.
Looked like he just went to reactive, too.
Let's do that. Shoot the spare, and you'll see Andrew Kane here. Not quite getting up the hill for Andrew. Seen a couple of really good shots, but that was common. I saw that a lot on the fresh for lefties specifically. Jacob Butcher got to 7 and 8 game 2 and had a similar issue where, again, ball just not quite getting up the hill. Then he started to kind of work backwards, if you will, where he started to go more look front to back. Started to see his ball hook earlier. Which ended up being very good for what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
I am curious, Ryan, since you were born here, you grew up here. When you got into bowling, what made you get into it, and who were some of the players that you kind of ended up looking up to in this area? Especially some that helped you out along the way.
So I really don't remember when I got into it. I think it was just one of my parents' friends is a younger guy. They used to have like a cosmic bowling, $10 go and you get like half off appetizers. He's like, "You want to go bowl?" I'm like, "Sure, I've never done it. Why not?" And then that turned into this little cosmic bowling league after that, and then I just started bowling. And when I started went to the shop to get my first ball, I went to see Jim Pratt, Revolution's Pro Shop. So he's basically been my he's taught me so much and been my mentor basically since I got into the game. I still text him all the time, hey, what do I need to do for this? Come watch me bowl. So I probably wouldn't be anywhere where I am without him bowling, and even with my business, he's been a major help. So
made a few shows over his course of his career. This is really like a stacked area of the country.
I think a lot of people don't give the Arizona and some of the West Coast credit for how many great, talented bowlers there are. A lot of great amateurs out here.
And or former professionals.
Yeah.
You see Kevin there on the left side of your screen. He went 3-bagger, split, 4-bagger. We were talking about interesting stories earlier. This one is more of a common one. We've all had a 3-bagger, split sheet situation. Most of us, I'm sure, or something close to it. Curious to know from you in the chat if you feel like typing away. You certainly don't have to, but some of us mentioned, or you mentioned where you were watching from this morning when we started. So if you're still watching and care to share, let us know where you are watching from. How many players we got or viewers we have in the local vicinity? I know we had a couple for the surrounding region and or other parts of the country. I know Holson was watching, so he would count for an international viewer. Where are we watching today? And we're just getting started, folks, so there's plenty of bowling left today. Big opportunity here for Andrew Kane. Bang. Somebody's doing it for a long time and doing it well. Andrew Kane, Matt Jones in that category too. Randy's watching from Peoria. DS watching from Rio Rancho. Look at Roland Franklin bringing donuts. Appreciate you, Roland. How about that? Want a donut?
Oh, I'm okay. Still too early for me.
I know you're sharing.
Tazman watching from Amarillo. DS again from Rio Rancho. I'll see you soon, DS, in another month and some change.
That's coming up.
New Mexico Open. 234 for Andrew Kane. Jamal watching from Louisville, Kentucky. Terry in northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. I got to get to a Reds game. I know you don't watch baseball, Ryan, but the Reds are exciting. They're back.
Yeah. I've heard the D-backs are doing good, but they've been so bad for so long. I just have no interest.
Yeah, they're last time I checked, they're leading the division. I was hoping to get to a game, but they are on the road this weekend. Never been to Chase Field. 221 for Kevin. His high game comes at
just when he needed it.
After he made the switch from urethane to reactive.
And that's with 2 splits,
Yep.
so not bad.
Steve watching from Tucson. We got East Mesa represented.
That's basically New Mexico.
Is it?
From here, East Mesa, yeah. Feels like it when we drive there.
Sean's watching from Surprise. He said also, Ryan, let him know if you want to go golfing. He's trying to get into that or learn that sport. So we've got a 230 out there. We've got 220 out there. Another 230. A couple of 2 teens or a few 2 teens that we can see. There's a string down on 15 and 16. Looks like it. Who is that? Is that Kashawn Manning?
Only 1 200 on 1 and 2. I think we're starting with game 7.
Game 7. Oh, I'm behind the graphic. Whoops. Forgot to change that one. So we are into game 7. I just went ahead and said we're just going to skip game 6 on your lower third screen there. Good morning to Ramon. Robert's watching from Fayetteville, North Carolina. D Fresh from Billings, Montana. Charlie Price, I remember watching him compete last year.
Another great senior player in the Valley. Good customer.
Chris Silva watching from Gilbert.
Matt Jones leaving our favorite 5 count.
Super washout. Pretty sure Chris bowled yesterday, if it's the same Chris Silva.
Oh, spared it. Good spare.
Yeah, Terry, back on that Reds talk. That actually is one ballpark I can say, and I certainly don't have them all marked off my list, but they have been, or I have been to a Reds game. It's been a few years though. I think, where were we? I know the PWBA had an event in, I guess Lexington would have been the closest, I think. Definitely wasn't in Cincinnati. The event was in Kentucky. That was actually a very cool place too, around the outfield. It was packed, kind of standing room only, but we walked around. I mean, there wasn't like a bad spot anywhere in that building, at least that I could see on the general surface. I cannot say the same about my old trusty White Sox. Chris.
Score chasing.
Watching from Canada. Appreciate you, and hopefully, Chris, you again are safe, and friends and family are good in regards to the wildfires, and anyone who has dealt with those in the past, certainly even in this area and obviously on the West Coast. Ralph asks about what's going on with Wes Malott. I mean, Ralph, I personally do not know. Now, Wes was on a show earlier this year. I don't remember the show. Might have been the double show? I'm not sure. No, it wasn't the double show. He made a show, but I know he had been battling and working through an injury. I think it was a back injury. That's a great individual to talk to if you ever get a chance to meet Wes. Super smart. Now living in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This Game 7 updates, or 6 updates, should be very interesting. There was a fair share of 230s and 220 games. And looking at where Kevin, for example, was, he's going to be in the -20 range. Yeah, that's right, Scooby. It was a major show. I don't know if it was TLC or maybe the new version of the Players. Ryan, how do you see this one shaking out right now? I'm kind of like, I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, there's quite a few 230s, but looking down the high end, there's a lot of people in the 170s. So I don't know what Jack did, but I saw they made a ball change, and I saw a couple 210 or 2. So this is going to be interesting. Curious to see what happens here on 7 and 8. Both of Andrew's shots didn't hit the head pin. I don't remember this was the pair that Jacob had that trouble on yesterday with or not.
Well, Jacob saw this pair. It was earlier in the block. But two southpaws on this pair.
Charlie started off pretty good this game.
Good one there for Andrew. Speaking of lefties, there's one more just to the right on 9 and 10. Martin Purnell. What's Keith Fong doing? Keith struggling through 5. I used to seeing him struggle.
I think he just switched out of urethane this game.
game feels like no one knows what's going on. Like people are unsure on how they should be trying to play them at this point in the block.
Yeah, not knowing if they need to switch and try to get all the strikes or just keep grinding it out because the scoring pace just keeps changing so much. Conaway with the front 4 on 3 and 4.
That could be big once we get this update. As John was 9th. He was 22 pins out of the number.
I think he shot 210 that game, or 214, so I think he's minus 10 now.
Interesting there. That miss, I thought, from Ben, I thought that was going to be maybe a runaway 3 from the right scenario.
Yeah, good break.
Again, the top 7 advance to Sunday morning's match play bracket. 32 players. There are 2 round buys and 1 round buys also on the line as well. So the top 2 from each squad receive 2 round buys. And 3rd and 4th receive a 1 round buy each. So maybe a little extra sleep. A little extra rest never hurt. Seeding also will be based on kind of those groupings as well. So, the leaders of the respective squads, right? The overall leader, or pin by pinfall, would then be the top overall seed.
Yeah.
And you kind of keep going down from that vantage point as well. And then you get into those who have 1 round buys and look at their pinfall totals and see them in that order, so forth and so on. Intricate seeding. I always have Theo explain it because every time I feel like I've got it. All right, just go ahead and explain it one more time just to make sure.
Yeah, usually have to ask him a couple times myself, what's going on here? Oh, okay. And then I, same thing, think about it. And I'm like, all right, tell me again.
Play, by the way, to its 2-game total pins. Usually sets itself up for some good opportunities for drama. We had a lot of that actually last year. There were some really good matches. Again, many players having to perform in the 10th frame, which is what you'd love to see as a viewer. Certainly not the bowling. All right, game 6 is updated. If you're just joining us again, click the results link. You'll see it pinned at the top of the chat. Michael Fitzgerald plus 135. Jack Sullivan plus 40, excuse me. 160, 178 his last 2. Andrew Kane, 3rd, now plus 32. Anthony Chin, 4th, at plus 29. Matt Jones is 5th at plus 27. Jonathan Meyer is 6th at plus 21. Joe Grondin is 7th at plus 14. And now, first player out is Ron Schloss. He's also plus at plus 11. Eddie Van Daniker is 9th at minus 9. John Conaway 10th at minus 10. Ben Perry 11th at minus 16. Kevin Valmonte is 12th at minus 19. Anthony Cando is 13th at minus 35. We're watching Charlie Price here. He's 14th at minus 65. Brianna Cote is 15th at minus 69. That's been a struggle for Ree. She shot 240 on 3 and 4 in game 5, but that in pair, 1 and 2, was not kind.
That pair hooks a lot. Lane 1 really hooks.
Game 7. Well, if this is correct, the next squad doesn't begin till 12:30. So we'll have ourselves a break.
Get a chance to get coffee and wake up.
Yes. Nice little reset prior to the next squad. Breaks lend the ability to eat, which is good. Big opportunity for Mr. Price. Again, Charlie at minus 65. Can set himself up nicely in game 8. Oh!
He just 5.
That's good. So that one just right off the hand of Andrew Kane.
Is it too soon to tell him the old saying, you hit 9, you get 9? He wouldn't expect anything less out of me, so. Charlie, yeah.
So Cam Weirson, I thought it was Cameron Weir yesterday in disguise. I was like, it doesn't bowl like it, but the hair, like, same thing.
Chris Anaya, he did not bowl a bad game. He probably had $1 every time we've said that today. Someone didn't throw a bat at all, and yet, not making up any ground or, nothing developing in 230, 240. Spare strike would get Charlie to 226. And, you'll take the 26 pins no matter what the case is. He'd still be in a situation where he could, with a big game, put himself in contention. this point, will players like Charlie or Ron or Eddie get any help from those in the top 7? All right, nice 226. With 1 left. Again, you take that position. Obviously, Charlie would love to already be plus. But he'll be minus 39 with 1 left. What do you guys think this this cut might be for this squad? It's working its way to, or it looks like it's going to be plus. Yesterday's cut was -1. A cut to get into the top 7. Right now it's plus 14. That's through 6.
Hard to say. Hard to say. I think it's probably going to be plus 30. But I'm terrible at guessing those. So.
I'm not good at it either. And I watch bowling every week and talk about cuts every week. And sometimes it's just difficult. All right, first one in the books. Matt says +8. He's going with +8. $213. That moves Andrew Kane to +45. With 1 to go. All intents and purposes, Andrew will stay out of trouble, and he's going to be good to go. Same thing with Michael Fitzgerald. Are they in game? We're in game 7 on 1 and 2 right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll have to keep an eye on Jack Sullivan. We were talking about Jack early. The first 4 games look great. And 160, 178, +40 after 6 games.
It's like Matt Jones went back to urethane, 9 and 10.
We'll get back over there in 1 sec after Ben Perry's fill shot. And all of a sudden, Kevin caught a tough pair on 11 and 12. Tasman says +4. Randy's in at +16. Speaking of trouble, Eddie Van Daniker is really struggling this game, unfortunately. He can only get to 137. And he was -9 in 9th place. Jones just shot 179, but he'll still be plus. Be +5. So he'll need to have a solid game just to ensure.
Yeah, John Conway just shot 216. That'll put him at +6. Probably put him in the top 7 again.
He's going to be in the 120s. 127. Brighton Bobbitt with a 4-bagger. They're only 11 and 12. Brighton was in 19th place.
Don't tell me her. Don't tell me her. Come on.
All right, folks, we've reached the finale here of B Squad, and it's getting iffy for some players here. Looks like the majority of the field is finishing up game 7. First two move into game 8 here on 5 and 6. Oh, would have been almost the same way that Jacob Buttroff made that yesterday. It's a good break to hit 9 there. Let's see, Michael Fitzgerald over on 1 and 2. Still getting it done. Be in the 220s there with a double, or 2 in the 10th, I should say. Boy, man, tell you, if Eddie didn't shoot 127 there, that makes it that much interesting. Yeah. That much more interesting on what's going to shake down here. Very interesting how the back half of this block, from a lane play perspective, the way the lanes look to be breaking down and how players are struggling looks to be quite intriguing.
Yeah, the transition happened pretty quickly and
very sudden.
They look really rough.
I feel that didn't get this rough late yesterday. Now, I didn't see the high end, so I cannot say to that degree, but at least from where we could see, I didn't see players who were bowling well for the majority of the block and or around the number, have rough games. But obviously this pattern can produce that.
Yeah, didn't see a lot of people move left and move back to the right and left and back to the right yesterday either, and there's been quite a few.
I see someone way down on it's that 19 and 20, what looks to be a string. I think it might be Joe Grondin. There are a lot of unhappy people right now bowling, folks. However, the players, I mean, we watched this entire thing. And, you know, maybe there was more surface going down the lane this morning or at lower grits.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe. But there wasn't too much that looked to be unusual based on the first squad yesterday or the only squad yesterday. But right now, there are some folks saying, man, get me out of here.
35 mils, that's all I got to say. It's funny, Theo posted the pattern and he was telling me he got quite a few messages that said, oh, you've had a typo on the post saying 35 mils. And Theo's like, yeah, it's not a typo.
Fitz is going to be in the 220s. Alec Johnson moved over from 1 and 2 to 3 and 4. He opened in the 10th for 220 on the nose. Fitzgerald shot 228. Just adding to his squad leading total at the moment.
It's like Mayer shot 179, puts him to even now.
All of a sudden, yeah, that +8, +4, +16. I mean, maybe the number even dips to back in the negative digits. You know, sometimes it's the high end, the low end that gets players, and it just depends on where you are, what the house characteristics are. Sometimes it really can be drastic when you go from 1 and 2 to 19 and 20.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case here. I just think this is more pattern related.
Yeah, for the most part. I know 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 are typically a tricky pair here, but I think, like you say, it's probably mostly pattern.
The most sought after score update in a while. 17 and 18 is finishing up game 7. Everyone just about now into game 8 officially, which means, well, 17 and 18 is probably going to be the last to be done. Five and 6 is going to be the first to be done. 11 and 12 just underway. So we'll have some bowling there for you to keep an eye on as we get further into this final game. Matt Jones got to be careful. What did I say? He shot 179, I believe, game 7. He's +5. And no strikes through the first 5 frames here on 7 and 8.
And he just moved left and went back to reactive.
Oh. Good shot there from Martin. I wonder if Alec Johnson can. He would be minus 124 at this point. It's a big shot. I think Matt had won, what, the last, or not the last, but at least like 3 maybe of the last 4 or 5 CEB tournaments, or 3 in the overall season, if I remember correctly, reading the posts on the Facebook group.
Yeah, he's been bowling really well this year.
All right, so Ryan, if you're out there right now and you've been watching what looks to be a lot of uncertainty, how would you have managed or attempted to manage this at this point, based on what you're seeing, obviously what you would be seeing from your own ball reaction, and then maybe even those around you?
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, lots of deep breathing and just trying to hit the pin closest to me, trying to avoid disaster. It's so easy to think about the number and just get out of your pre-shot routine, and it's really easy to lose focus. So, deep breath, one shot at a time.
That's good advice. The breathing part specifically. This feels like the beginning of the block, right? Where there were some players out there who, trying to figure out where they should play. You're not comfortable yet. The arm swing's not close to being loose, so you're not throwing it the best that you could be, and except it's happening at the end of the block. Oh, vicious. $17 and $18 are complete too, so we should have the Game 7 update pretty soon. In fact, we do have it. The score update, for those of you who are following along at home. Make sure you click the link in the chat. It is pinned to the top. Wait a minute.
No, those scores aren't right.
Yeah. At least Fitzgerald's is.
Yeah, his and Mayer's are flip-flopped.
I'm never going to be able to throw the ball to the left again. It's going to feel like that for a long time.
How would you describe what Andrew just tried to describe with his hand-arm motions?
I think he said he's never going to be able to throw it to the left. He's just so on top of it. He's like, I'm just going to everything over my right toe.
He's going left to right. When he throws it left, he misses the head pin.
Yeah. Looks like Theo re-updated it.
All right, Fitz at plus 163. Joe Grondin did shoot 243. He's at plus 57. Andrew Cain's at plus 45 in third. Anthony Chin fourth at plus 22. Ben Perry fifth at plus 9. Matt Jones and John Conaway plus 6, excuse me. Beg your pardon on that. Plus 6 is where it's at the moment. Jack Sullivan, wow. Jack has gone 160, 178, 163 after looking like he had the best look in the building games 2, 3, and 4. It is crazy how quickly things can change. And now he is, again, 3 pins out of the number.
High end's not playing nice today, apparently.
So perhaps maybe that is a little bit up today. Jonathan Meyer, by the way, is even and he is ninth. Anthony Kando is -7. Ron Schloss is -9. All of those players, of course, can still get there. Even that Charlie Price is -39, and that might be at this point maybe too much of a deficit to overcome. But you're just trying to get in this top 7, so you don't have to worry about wanting to bowl again, whether you bowl a full squad or just a Desperado.
Yeah.
If this is any indication of how the rest of the squads are going to go, it's going to be a tough day.
Yeah. Spare shooting is going to be so important this next 2.
And now let's see, Sullivan. Yeah, Jack's going to be. Yeah, he's on 19 and 20. Jonathan went down there as well. He's on the high end. Anthony Kendo. He's down on the high end as well. Ron Schloss was down. He's on, looks like maybe 15 and 16 or 13 and 14. It's a big shot here from Matt Jones. Oh, my. That could be a cut-making little tip of the 10 pin there. He cannot get to plus territory this game, so he needs all of these.
Yeah.
Two 810. It's going to be in the 170s. I mean, there's an opportunity here for Jack Sullivan, Jonathan Meyer, Anthony Kando, and Ron Schloss. They one of those 4
That feels okay.
can be in. 181 for Andrew Kane. He's going to be A-OK. He might end up in second. Andrew Kane. At maybe plus 26. Who knows what's about to take place? Where's Anthony Chinbo?
Looks like he's on 11 and 12.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, keep an eye on him. I'm gonna go back to so Matt said +8 in the chat. Tasman said +4. Randy said +16. All of those could be it. +4 is looking good. It actually is probably going to be minus now.
Yeah.
Chris, and we'll watch Martin here, and then we'll go over to 9 through 12 and keep an eye on Anthony Chin. There's no strings on 1, 2, 3, and 4. John Conaway is over there. Charlie Price is over there. Where is John? Oh, we'll keep an eye on John. He's tied, or was tied for the final spot, but he would have been in.
Did he make the split? Yep, spared to 210. That's huge.
What an interesting development here. Now there's really the most consistent player has been Michael Fitzgerald. It looked like it was going to be Jack Sullivan for a minute, and then trouble met Jack. But again, just 3 pins back, and that number is actually less. He might even be kind of in the number, if you will, right now. Biden Bobbitt, 9th frame. Ben Perry, spare to deal with. Ben is 5th at +9. So all is working in his favor at the moment. Is there an amusement park nearby?
No, I don't think so. They're building one. They
Really?
won't be ready till next year.
I know people are like, oh, that's an interesting question. Eve. Talking about amusement parks, I'm wondering where's the nearest roller coaster, because wherever it is, it's made its way to Lakeview Lanes, because today was the ultimate roller coaster.
Yeah.
One that I think I didn't expect this.
No, not at all.
What did Matt end up shooting? But they got to like 172, right? I think that was a spare, 175 with a spare.
173, I think.
John Verbal says, hello, John, by the way. Desert Storm at Castles and Coasters. Well, maybe that's Castles and Coasters is here
Yeah.
at Lakeview Lanes.
I forgot that place existed.
John Conaway opened in the 7th. Best he can do is 188. And he might need them all. Again, he was +6. He's on 1 and 2. Keeping an eye on his progress down there. It sounded like a split.
Yep, 2-4-10.
There was Anthony Chin. I think simply put for Anthony, if he goes plus or even, he's in. Anything less than that is questionable, simply because we just don't know what's going to happen with Sullivan, Meyer, Kando, or Schloss.
Yep.
Fitzgerald, I think Grondin, definitely Andrew Kane are safe. Joe Grondin would have to have just a horrendous game. Tough game 7 there for Eddie Van Daniker. Ultimately going to be the difference he was going to be in, I think. And now Conaway can, best he can do now is 166. As his number continues to drop. Good break there for Anthony. If he's pacing in the 190s. And if he does that, that's going to be enough. Now Conaway did not strike. He left the 2-8 there, Ryan.
Yeah, probably no coming back.
There are some squads you watch and you go, man, I really would have enjoyed bowling on that squad. And there's some squads you go, I'm happy I was not bowling.
Yeah, exactly.
This is that squad.
Looks like he had the same issue on that pair that I did yesterday. The front part of the lane, you started hooking so much, force your feet left, and then as soon as you try to get it to the right, it just went 100 feet.
That's so hard to combat. Try to figure out what to do, because you're just, you know, so many ways it could go.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many things you could do right, but will end up looking wrong, like you just described, basically. But that break right there is going to get Anthony Chin a spot into match play tomorrow. And it looked like, again, without seeing him every single game, but he started down here and was throwing urethane, and a combination of a couple different ones. And he still is throwing it. But it doesn't look like his game plan changed at all. He was right to left from the start, playing out, trying to go as, you know, as close to the head pin as possible.
Make your spares.
If anyone wants to re-vote on their estimated cut score, I'd love to hear it. They might be minus 20 now.
Could be close.
Joe Grondin again with a string. So it's Fitzgerald, Grondin, Kane, Chin. Ben Perry is in. So we've got 5 at least. There are 2 spots now for sure up for grabs, as we assume. We know that Matt Jones and John Conaway produce scores that would move them theoretically out of the number. And there were 4 players within 15 pins of them who were outside the number headed into game 8. All of them on the extreme high end. So after we get done with 11 and 12, I'm going to turn the camera as best as possible to try to get, actually they're bowling pretty fast. They might be done by the time we even move the camera.
Yeah, looks like they're in the 10th frame already.
Anthony Cando just struck from what I could tell. But he was someone where he's at minus 7, right? And I'm sure he doesn't know, obviously, what happened down here. So everybody down there should be the mindset of just get them all, see what happens.
Yep.
Except if you're Michael Fitzgerald. He's probably still shooting 250. Joe Grondin is doing that too. That's a name to watch out for. I said this at the beginning of the show, but watch out for Grondin tomorrow in match play. And looks like he's going to have one of the 2 round buys along with Michael Fitzgerald. What'd you get to?
33 over. Had 230 last. Well, wasn't throwing many good shots after that. But even the good ones were striking. 2 pin, 10 pin, 10 pin. I had a few good ones off my hand, or I'm like, oh, that's great. 2 8 10. Like, okay.
Jack Sullivan just said he shot 233 or 230 to get to plus 33. So he's going to be in. I'm going to go look at one other score. Actually, Ron Schloss is still bowling. I'm going to go turn that camera.
Yeah, what's the word? So you all right?
So Ron Schloss can shoot 197. That's his max. And he was, what, -9? So without knowing what Jonathan and Anthony shot, this could be Ron bowling for that 7th spot. And he's definitely now going to be in the 190s. Hello, Pink Panther, Zach Andley. Greg LaPointe will have the honor of finishing out the, or this squad, I should say. Sounds like I'm hearing some intel there. What do we hear?
Apparently somebody down there shot 260.
Okay. Well, Joe Grondin definitely had a string. I don't know what he finished with, but he did.
Good to see you, bud. Take care. Family doing good?
Yep. So Michael, Joe, Andrew, Anthony, Ben, Jack, and either perhaps Jonathan Meyer or Ron Schloss. That's where we are at the moment. All right, that's official. We'll await the official tally. We don't call it official until we hear the voice of Theo.
Yep.
So Ryan, now that we watched the full 8 games, it's been a while since I've had a few emotions during a block. And you get excited, you start, seeing what we saw in the first 4 games. Yesterday, Matt Zweig had the nice finish to the last 4 games. And I feel like every other game, someone was bowling well, and then all of a sudden it just went down
Yeah.
quickly. What'd you think overall of this squad?
I think it gave me just as much stress and anxiety as it did to me bowling yesterday. I feel just as tired except less sweaty. But yeah, no, it's scores are getting good, and then they just. It's just a roll, like you said, the best thing, roller coasters,
I do
unreal.
have room on the 12:30 squad if you did not make it, and I also have room on the 6 p.m. squad if you would like to bowl. Again, lunch will be served between 11 and noon, just outside the low end of the center.
That's just wild, man. Shout out to Bro Dogs too, by the way. Bro Dogs, the new business venture for Theo. Theo's dad.
Here, just behind where you guys
And I
checked in,
believe it
there's
was
a
Theo's
room.
cousin or niece
You're using that as our paddock. You're more than
We're
welcome
out there.
to leave your stuff in there.
serving up Bro Dogs to some of the competitors and spectators out there. Bro Dogs, they got a hot dog cart. You a dog and you're in the area, head on over to Bro Dogs there. And then you come inside, get yourself some wonderful food at George's Cafe. We're good to go today on food. The only thing we don't know is that last player is going to get themselves an automatic spot and won't have to consider bowling again today. I tell you what, I can't ever call myself a tournament bowler because I think my prime tournament time, if you will, basically has been spent doing this job for the last 6, 7, or whatever, how many years I've been doing it. But I might have to consider, I definitely consider re-entering, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I also might consider just saying, you know what, maybe just today wasn't my day.
It's not my weekend.
This is just not my weekend. And I'm just going to sit back, maybe enjoy, have a cocktail,
Yep.
and watch my people bowl or something like that. Because I don't know, man.
It looks like scores are updated.
Oh, what you got? Tell us.
Looks like the cut was
Oh, boy.
Ron Schloss at -12. Oh, it's a tie between him and Jonathan Mayer.
Uh-oh.
That makes it interesting.
Well, we will now await the official tiebreak rules. On a normal setting, this would be a one-game roll-off.
We have your final standings.
We got a one-game roll-off at
Your
the
leader
Desperado
on the 7
squad.
a.m. squad
Yeah.
was Michael Fitzgerald at +201. Seconds at +125, Joseph Grondin. They will both each receive 2 byes tomorrow in the finals. In third, Jack Sullivan
201.
at +33. In
What?
fourth, we have a tie. For fourth,
That's
since
wild.
there is a bye on the line, we will have at +26, Andrew Kane, and also +26, Anthony Chin. If I can have you guys on 5 and 6, we'll do a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
To see who gets the bye.
Oh,
That's
sorry,
interesting.
not 5 and 6. Where's good, Mike?
How quick is this going to go? 9 and
Just
10?
9th and 10th frame.
9 and 10's on the live stream, right? Yeah, do 9 and 10.
Okay, so on 9 and 10, Anthony Chen and Andrew Kane. Do a 9th and 10th frame real quick for determining who gets the bye. In 6th, at +22, Ben Perry. And then everybody likes to make my life hard. In 7th, we also have another tie to see who makes the finals. At -12, Ron Schloss and Jonathan Mayer. You guys will also do a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
Okay, 9th and
We'll
10th.
put you guys on 11 and 12. You guys can take one shot on each lane.
Okay, so 2 roll-offs, both 9th and 10th frame roll-offs. Let me go move a camera back in place.
Anthony, you had the higher game in qualifying, so you will get choice of if you want to go first or second and which lane you will want to be on. To start
Brian,
on.
if you wouldn't mind to update the viewers on what's
And then
happening,
Ron and
just in case we
Jonathan
got
both
some
had a
new
236 for the
viewers.
first high
Okay,
game.
yeah, for sure.
So the second high game
So
was
if you're just
John
now
with
joining us,
233. So John,
we
you will
have
get the
2
same choice
9th and 10th
if
frame
you wanna go
roll-offs.
first or second.
The first one is with Andrew Kane and Anthony Chin because they tied. So they're going to do
Go ahead and
a
take
9th
one
and
shot
10th
each lane,
roll off to
guys,
see
and
who
then
gets
make
the
your
1 round
choices.
bye.
9th, 10th frame roll off.
And then we had a tie for the cut line with
guys
Ron
have
Schloss
bracket
and
money
Jonathan
coming
Mayer
back,
at minus
we do
12.
have
So
that
whoever
ready to
wins
go.
that, it's going to make
See
match play.
Virginia, and she will happily pay you out.
Okay. So we've got, well, you just talked about it, right?
Yep, let them know what's going on and how they're warming up.
This is well, this is a first. 2 ties in 1 round or 1 squad. 1 for a bye and the other to make the bracket. Now I know some might be out there saying, it's just a bye, but I mean, the less you got a bowl in many cases, the better.
Yeah, especially, tomorrow starting on the fresh, you don't have to start on it. Let them transition and you get to come in. People are already got 2 games in.
Again, not full games, just 9th and 10th frame. Now, I did hear that Anthony had the highest game of this squad between the 2, so he had the higher seed technically, or choice of
Lane and starting, yep.
lane and start. What was the situation there for Ron and Jonathan?
I think theirs is I think it was the same, so, well, they both shot 236
Okay.
as their high game. But Jonathan had another 233 to Ron's 231, so I'm sure that's going to be the next deciding factor.
What a time. All right, Anthony's going to start first.
I like it. Put the pressure on.
Again, this is for a bye. Anthony and Andrew are in the bracket, so that part is not in question for those 2 players. In particular, it's a matter of which one of those players is going to bowl 1 round earlier and which one's going to bowl at the start of match play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, Ron Schloss, he and Jonathan Mayer are bowling for an automatic spot in the bracket. And whoever, of course, does not, or the loser of this roll-off, I should say, will then determine whether or not they're going to re-enter or bowl the Desperado or both.
Yeah.
Schloss with the spare to start, and it makes his max, of course, now 50. Same thing with Anthony Chin. That was almost big trouble there for Andrew Kane. I feel like it's the magnitude is a little bit different for both these matches, right?
Yeah, both still got some heavy importance.
Love for Jonathan, obviously, to strike here and get himself in position to win it. He's going to make a tough 3, 6, 10.
Not a spare I want to be shooting at.
Dermeyer getting the starting the lane dressing process. He's already got 1 through 5 down now. And an open there for Jonathan. The best he can do is 39, and that's with 3 in the 10th. It's a must strike almost for Jonathan. That's huge.
Good break.
Two more, and he at least forces a mark from Ron in the 10th. Actually, two more, and he forces, you know, at least. Now we're talking about, you know, strike 9 spare.
It's a good shot.
All of a sudden now 9 spare 9 is could be a loss. 9 spare strike could be a tie if Meyer strikes here. Roll-offs are tricky. Have you ever been in a roll-off?
Once, but I don't think it was nowhere near as important as this.
Andrew Kane in the books with 40, and that's going to do it. So Andrew earns the 1 round bye. Oh boy. 6 on the fill for 35. Pin count was very important there on that fill. Still needs a mark, though. There it is. Well, a shot. Now 6 pins and 2 shots. And Ron Schloss will have sole possession of 7th place in the final spot here for tomorrow's match play from this squad.
Oh, he's going to hook at it. I would have thrown it right at the head pin. Oh.
Okay. So currently, we're at a tie. Ron needs one of these 5 pins. Just one. Looks like he stayed behind the foul line and gets 3.
All right, Andrew Kane.
Would have been fun to have another 9th and 10th frame roll off, huh?
Wow.
Andrew will get 1 bye. Anthony will be in the first round.
Oh,
and
man.
Our other 9th and 10th frame roll-off, Ron Schloss defeats.
Great bowling, though, from
Ron
John Mayer. Hate to
the
that it
finals.
obviously came down to that, but interesting nonetheless. But shout out to Ron Schloss for getting it done in the roll-off.
Yep.
And so now we are officially set. So Fitzgerald, Michael Fitzgerald and Joe Grondin each receive a 2-round bye. Jack Sullivan and Andrew Kane receive a 1-round bye. Anthony Chin, Ben Perry, and Ron Schloss. No buys, but they are in the bracket. And their seeds still to be determined based on the rest of the squads and how players finish up. So that's going to officially do it now for us. Ryan Riley, appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a good time.
For hanging out. Ryan, of course, of 10 Back Bowling Solutions. Big thanks to all of the sponsors here on the CBE 10K Cactus Classic, the 2nd annual. Brunswick David's Desert Chapel, MCC Premium Label Solutions, Oasis Pet Grooming, which is where Mr. Mayor, big thanks to him and his family. Ramsey Auto Center, of course, 10 Back Bowling, Yates Buick GMC, West USA, and True Amateur Tournaments of Desert Southwest, led by John Verbal. He will be
Is this to catch your cables?
and then, of course, EFX and Chuck's Painting, 2 very, very important sponsors that have been with Theo through the beginning, helping to get this event off the ground. We appreciate Theo and Ryan, the entire staff here at Lakeview Lanes. Mike's out there doing his thing right now. Oil in the lanes. C-Squad will hit the lanes at 12:30 p.m. local, 1:30 Mountain, 2:30 Central, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That is C-Squad. Our 2nd squad of the day will hit the lanes at that time. Until then, Have a good break, if you will, good rest of your weekend or rest of your Saturday at the moment, and we'll see you this afternoon. This has been a presentation of the second annual CBE 10K Cactus Classic B Squad qualifying right here on Bowl Stream TV.